The most important conversation you will ever have in your life is the one you have with yourself. You wake up with it, you walk around with it, you go to bed with it. Eventually, you're gonna act on it, whether you're good or bad. That's why the whole thing about this book I have, it's about you. It is about you. It's strictly about you finding who you are. So many people die, live 100 years, never know who they are. Never know who they are. You have to look in that mirror and know there's so much more in here, man. Because I could literally right now be a 300-pound guy spraying for cockroaches still to this day if I did not look in that mirror and say, there has to be more to this. This can't be it. And then willing to go into it, dive deep into it, and give all I have to find it. A lot of us don't know of a whole nother world that exists. It's on the other side of suffering. Once you break these barriers that you have made for yourself, like the mind is the most powerful thing in the world. It is so amazing that I used to be a 300-pound guy and I thought that was it. Could barely read, could do anything. And now, what was inside that person was this guy that's in front of you today. That's how scary the mind is. And that's what I started realizing through this journey, is that once I got a taste of, wow, man, I haven't even cracked. I haven't even begun to crack what the mind is capable of. And I started realizing is on the other end of suffering, that's the real growth of life. As you all know, it's a hot, nice heat wave. Mother Nature's pissed off, but guess what? So am I. Today I was running, and this guy passes me in the car. And it's about 100 degrees out here, 70% humidity. And the guy comes back around, looks at me. He pulls his car by me and says, "Why are you out here?" I said, "Because you're not." Sometimes your motivation needs to be because no one else wants to do it. We need doctors. We need dentists. We need teachers. We also need savages. This message I do is not for everybody. So I don't want to see that soft bullshit about, do you have sunscreen on? This message is dangerous. It's too hot. I'm not asking you to be like me. Do you? Stay hard. My mom was working 3 jobs. She wasn't at home ever. But my job as the man of the house is just me and her. I didn't want to tell her how bad life was for me, how bad I was struggling, how much school I was missing, how far behind in my studies I was. They sent a letter home to her saying, your son has missed like 25% of the year. These are his grades. She never saw one report card. My mom never saw one report card of mine. So my junior year, she got this, she looked at it, and she was going through so much stress in her life. She looked at me and said, "You're gonna fail high school." And that was about the only advice she gave me. She was dealing with so many issues mentally. And I sat there and I went to the bathroom, and I used to have all these different haircuts. And I used to dress all kind of crazy because I was looking for attention because, being one of the only few black kids in school, I was looking for somewhere to stick. And I was like, I'm just gonna create a character. And I went in the mirror and I called it the accountability mirror. I went in the mirror as my mom sat me down in the bed and said, "You're gonna fail." That's the only advice I had. And my principal, no one had any good advice for me. I was alone. And that's why I talk about the voice in my book a lot. And that voice is God, obviously. But I went to the mirror, the accountability mirror, I looked at it and I said, "My God, man, you are on your own. And what are you gonna do about it?" And that's when I slowly started to change my life. But it doesn't happen that quickly. Being accepted is one thing that killed me. And you have to learn, what do you want in your life? We have so much influence coming at us that we are so lost. We don't know what we want to do because we don't spend enough time with ourselves. You have to learn to shut off a phone, shut off a computer, shut off a TV. And it's okay to sit in a room by yourself in a chair and just think about you, where I want to be, where do I see myself tomorrow, the next year from that. And it takes a lot of self-discipline to be able to do that nowadays because you want to be so attached to everything. You want to be so caught up with the world. The world's moving too fast. The world's moving so fast that you're trying to keep up to the point where you lose yourself in the world. So you have to take that time to go to that dark place in your mind and discover who you are. I'm very fortunate that I grew up in a time when there was no phones and there was no social media. And I suggest, yes, I'm on social media on a very limited basis because I have a story to tell, and it's a great platform. Use it as a platform, don't use it as your life. My biggest advice to give everybody in the world is, like I say, we live in an external world. Everything is, you gotta see it, touch it, it's external. If you can, for the rest of your life, live inside of yourself. Stop listening to people who are calling you fat, gay, transsexual. Everything that is makes no sense. All these insecure people putting their insecurities on you, you gotta flush it out. You gotta just be whoever the hell God or whatever the hell you believe in. If you believe in nothing but yourself, I don't care what it is. You gotta take everything and throw it away. You have to believe in one thing, and that is yourself. And I'm not saying don't believe in God or what you believe in, but right now, for you to find greatness in yourself, you're not gonna find it by looking in a book or by even hearing me. I may give you the spark, but you've got to go inside yourself to find it. And that means you gotta be quiet. Go in a room, stop talking, search your soul, search your mind, search your abilities, and you'll find it. But if you're not looking for it, you won't find it. So you gotta go start your journey. And the journey starts with you finding, why the hell am I here on this planet Earth? Why am I here? And if you don't know that, you will live the rest of your life searching, always asking the question, why? Do you remember how many nights you spent by yourself in your head thinking about what kind of piece of shit you were and how miserable that was? That's exactly my drive. I know that there's not just me and you. There's millions, especially nowadays with all this pressure, man. You can now bully on your phone. You know, back in our day, it was face to face. You can do everything over your phone. The pressures of trying to keep up with everything is at an all-time high. And our mindsets are at an all-time low. We are the weakest we've been mentally ever since the beginning of time. And it's even harder. So it's harder with a weaker mind. So all I want to do, my whole drive is about, I have a really good way of visualizing people suffering, because a lot of people do it. We have two sides of us. We have one side that is that happy-go-lucky side, that nothing's wrong and everything is good. But we have that side at home when no one's around, that's depressed and miserable and we're not good enough. And whatever happened to you is real. So that's my drive. I want to make sure that I give people as much power as I can, so when they get up every morning, they know that, hey, I have the ability to not only survive in this world, but thrive in this world just by the mere fact of hearing about my story.